What is good, guys? Repel here, bringing you another Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle. Today we're up against Daze, and take a look at Daze's team. It's pretty fucking scary. We can tell that his Mega is going to be that Sceptile, so I don't think I've ever fought a Mega Sceptile, so this will be my first time fighting a Mega Sceptile. And he also has 3 water types, but what concerns me the most is that Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash, as you know, is so problematic. I thought I've seen enough Rotom Washes, but apparently the phase has not died out, so I'm gonna lead out with the Ferrothorn because I want to set up my rocks. He's gonna lead up with the Rotom Wash. He could go for several things. He can go for the Will-O-Wisp or the Pulse Switch. So he does go for the Will-O-Wisp, and I didn't really care if I get burned or not because I just want to set up my rocks. That's really all Ferrothorn really is good for. If he does burn me, I mean, it does kind of suck, but you know what? I don't really care. Now my opponent might go for the Volt Switch, so I'm thinking, okay, let's just go into Thundurus to see what he's gonna do. Turns out he's gonna go for a Hydro Pump, so I guess he predicted that really nicely. Because obviously, Ferrothorn would have eaten that Hydro Pump really nicely, so. I am Choice Scarf, I do outspeed this Rotom, and you know, I do a decent amount with that Volt Switch. And I get out of here. I don't want to get Hydro Pumped yet again, so I go back into my Ferrothorn once again. And he does go for the Hydro, and I'm telling you, Ferrothorn eats it so well, so I really should have just stayed in with Ferrothorn, even though Ferrothorn can't really do anything, because he is burned now. So he's gonna go for a Volt Switch now. I'm thinking, well, I didn't want to play any games here, you know, he could have went for another Hydro Pump and just one-shot my Thundurus, so. It's good predictions on my opponent's part though, so he's gonna go into this Empoleon, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm pretty sure this Empoleon has Defog. Why else would he send out Empoleon, right? He does have 2 grass types, so, you know, he could have switched in to absorb those, you know, Leaf Seed. Like, for example, what's it called? Chesnaught would have been perfect. Chesnaught is immune to Leech Seed, and he can just pretty much scare me away. So I'm thinking he probably has Defog. But turns out he's gonna use Stealth Rocks. So, knowing that he used Stealth Rocks before Defog, I'm pretty sure he doesn't even have Defog. I really thought he was gonna switch out too. So, yeah, once again, I'm over-predicting my opponent way too much, and it's just kind of biting me in the ass here. Now, my opponent, obviously, you know, I can't really do anything. I'm only good for using Leech Seed and, you know, doing that Iron Barb and Rocky Helmet damage. I went into Jellicent now, expecting like a Scald or something. Turns out he's just gonna go for Roar. So, you know, I'm getting hurt a little bit by rocks, but at the same time, my opponent is getting sapped by Leech Seed, so I don't really mind it. I really don't mind it. He can keep using Roar for all that matter, and, you know, Leech Seed will just eventually wear him out. That's fine by me. Eventually, this Empoleon needs to switch out. So, I went for a Saber Play and just went for a knockoff. He's gonna Scald me. He does burn me, but that doesn't really matter because my Scrafty obviously has the Shed Skin, so. I really thought he was gonna switch out, but upon, you know, closer look, my opponent is not switching out anytime soon. Not sure why. Really not sure why. He had so much opportunity to switch, but he chooses not to. So this Empoleon is pretty much gone for good now. You know, he has like a speck of HP left, and, you know, not to mention my rocks are up. And after seeing the knockoff, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to switch into a free Pokemon. So I'm like, okay then, you can stay in. And just keep using Scald. I'll take it pretty nicely, and I just went for a Dream Punch. It's better than using knockoff, obviously, because I grab a little bit more HP. And not to mention, I'm not quite sure if knockoff can kill from that range, so. Down goes the Empoleon, kind of problematic, but you know, it's all good. But luckily I do get that Shed Skin, so that's pretty awesome. And I grabbed some more leftovers, so Scrafty's looking pretty decent, pretty healthy. I could have set up, but I really wasn't sure when my opponent was going to switch out. You know, I was really scared that my opponent was going to switch into Chesnaught. And I'm not sure what this Chesnaught is, you know. Usually Chesnaughts are, you know, defensive, like spikers, but I've seen some physical Chesnaughts too, so I don't want to get hit by any fighting attack. But my opponent just went for a Spiky Shield. So I'm like, oh damn, I should just maybe went for a Bulk Up. But, you know, whatever. So we still don't know if this Chesnaught is a Spiker yet, because obviously he did have a free turn to go for Spikes, but he chose to go for a Spiky Shield. He's gonna switch out now. He's gonna go into Rotom, expecting probably like a Water attack. I just went for a Saber Play and just go for the Will-O-Wisp. He doesn't have any Fire attacks. Nothing in the team, you know, is immune to Will-O-Wisp, so luckily I do land it. So it's nice to burn a Rotom Wash for a change, but turns out this Rotom Wash has the Lumberry. Really strange, but I guess he probably also has the rest. But usually you just see a Chesnaught berry. There's no point of having a Lumberry if you're just gonna run rest, since you know rest just cures your status. So he goes for the Pain Split. I just went for the Will-O-Wisp yet again because, you know, I want this Rotom to have its own taste of its own medicine, but unfortunately I miss Will-O-Miss, and he misses his own Will-O-Wisp too. It's an eye for an eye. I actually just went for the Recover in case he goes for the Volt Switch, because I don't want him to get that switch priority. So I'm thinking, well, he might go for the Will-O-Wisp yet again. So I'm gonna go into Venomoth now. Why did I go in with Venomoth? Because my Venomoth actually has a Lumberry. And not to mention, I want to set up my sweep right now. He does have, you know, 2 grass types, so yeah. I'm gonna go for the Quiver Dance because I really thought that Sleep Powder would have missed. It's just a little safer to go for the Quiver Dance. You know, in case the Sceptile does come out, I will outspeed this Sceptile now. Goes for the Volt Switch. You know, it does a decent amount. He's gonna get the heck out of here. And he's gonna bring out his Jellicent named Pringles. That's a hilarious name because I can totally see the Pringles mascot now. I'm gonna go for Sleep Powder and I just prayed. I prayed so hard. I prayed so hard that I would land a Sleep Powder, and luckily I did. So that gives me a few more turns to set up Quiver Dances. Not looking too good on my opponent's parts here. What he really should have done was save that Rotom Wash to absorb that Sleep Powder, you know, with that Lumberry for this instance. But instead, you know, that Rotom used the Lumberry way too early. So I'm gonna go for my 3rd Quiver Dance now. Things are looking a little bit scary. Keep in mind that Jellicent is a ghost type, so he does resist both my stabs actually. He resists my Bug Buzz and Sludge Bomb. And I'm pretty sure this Jellicent is especially defensive, but it actually turns out, you know, that Bug Buzz did more than I expected. He disables my fucking motherfucking Bug Buzz, so I'm stuck to Sludge Bomb. And he misses his Will-O-Wisp yet again, but like I mentioned, it doesn't matter because I do have the Lumberry. So he goes for the Psychic. Really strange to see Psychic, but it turns out in his favor. And I'm thinking I could go for either Sleep Powder or Quiver Dance, but instead I just went for I just went for the Quiver Dance because it's a little bit safer. Because after this Quiver Dance, I'm just barely hanging on thanks to that special defense boost. So I can finish off this, you know, Jellicent with that Sludge Bomb. Now, nothing in this team except for the Bisharp has the priority. Usually Bisharp has Sucker Punch. And we both know, my opponent and I both know that Sucker Punch is way too obvious. It's just way too damn obvious, but I didn't want to play any games here, I just want to go for Sleep Powder. Turns out my opponent actually did not go for the, you know, what's it called? The Sucker Punch. Which is actually, you know, a solid move, because I could have just easily missed my obviously miss my Sleep Powder, and then he could have just killed me with like a knockoff or Iron Head. But I put him to sleep, and I just kill him with that Bug Buzz. So he could have went for a Sucker Punch there, and maybe he could have woken up. Not too sure. Now comes a Rotom, and you know, he's just throwing out every Pokemon that he has except for his Grass types one by one, and this Rotom will not appreciate like a +3 or 4, yeah, like a +4 Quiver Dance. Or 5? Yeah, I think I don't know. Out comes the Mega Shiny Sceptile. Really freaking sweet to see it. It's gonna Mega Evolution. My first time fighting against Mega Sceptile. Looks so badass. Looks like a fucking Christmas tree. Totally appropriate for the holidays. I'm gonna go for a Sludge Bomb. But even a Mega Sceptile will not appreciate a Sludge Bomb coming from Venomoth. Venomoth is just way too good at this point. And my opponent sends out the final Pokemon, Chesnaught. Yet another shiny. I love seeing shiny Chesnaught too. And he is gonna go for a Spiky Shield. You know, fine and all, you know. Prolong it however you want, it's all good. And turns out I went for a Sludge Bomb and I totally forgot that this Chesnaught has Bulletproof, so my opponent actually probably could have stopped my Venomoth sweep there. But instead he went for the Spiky Shield, and I just finish off this Chesnaught with that Bug Buzz. And that will wrap up the game. So thank you, Days, for bringing such an amazing team. Really love the shiny Mega Sceptile. Really cool, really badass. Please leave that awesome like it for Venomoth. Make sure to comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.